What is going on? You already know it's Orlando, and today I bring you guys the evolution of Archetypes. And 2K in the past has changed the way we play this game. From the beginning of the My Park scene 2K14 till today 2K19, the archetype system has changed tremendously, and we're gonna go over all the years and how they were in the past and how they have changed today. But first, just take 1 second out of your day, hit the like key down below and subscribe to the channel. Like I said before, guys, if you comment down below the first hour this video was released in, I will respond to every single one of those. And if you guys are enjoying these evolution series, make sure you guys hit the playlist at the end of the video. I have a bunch more evolution videos I have made, and they're all very interesting and unique, so make sure you guys check them out. But besides that, guys, let's just get right into the video.
If you're looking to buy or sell a 2K account, make sure you hit up Sports TMB. It's the most reliable account service in the 2K community. He has a bunch of accounts with high overalls, max badges, and more. Make sure you let him know Orlando in Chicago sent you.
2K14. A lot of people actually did not know Park existed in 2K14. And it's not because, you know, people weren't buying 2K. No, people were buying 2K. I bought NBA 2K14, but a lot of people didn't have an Xbox One or a PS4 yet. They were really expensive. They were brand new, and a lot of people were still rocking the Xbox 360s and PS3. Like myself, I had a Xbox 360 at 2K14, but it did not come with the My Park. The My Park was only for the people that owned an Xbox One or PS4. But for those people, you guys got to enjoy the My Park scene for the first time ever. And to be honest, I didn't know much about it, and I had to do research about the archetypes in that game. And this is what I found out, which is pretty interesting. When you created your Myplayer for My Career and My Park in 2K14, you got a choice. I found this out. You got to pick your play style. That's like the archetype systems in 2K14. And the play style choices they had that year were all around, defensive, athletic, back to basket, face up, and rebounding. Yeah, these sound pretty lit. It sounds like they had an archetype system before 2K17 arrived, because in 2K15 and 2K16, they didn't have these play styles, which is kind of interesting if you think about it. But while I was looking through a bunch of information and doing research, pretty much in 2K14, everyone picked the athletic type. Like all the sweaty tryhards who played Park in 2K14, they all chose an athletic build. I'm not really sure why they chose it. Probably because it was just the cheesiest build that year, where you can just dunk and shoot and do whatever with that build. But besides that, guys, I don't know much of 2K14. It's kind of a mystery. Not many people posted about it, but those were the archetypes you got to choose from in 2K14. And yeah, that's pretty dope. They had archetypes before 2K17. 2K15. This was the first year many of us got to play the My Park. I actually finally got to enjoy My Park for the very first time, and I remember creating my Myplayer, and I remember some things in 2K15. Well, actually I remember a lot because it was my favorite My Park of the year. And pretty much in 2K15, I'm gonna sum it up for you guys. There was no archetypes. There was nothing. You just had your columns of attributes you got to fill up. And pretty much there were 6 columns: jump shooter, inside scorer, athletic, playmaker, rebounder, and defender. And once you unlocked all your attributes at 99 overall, you're able to max out 5 of these bars out of the 6. And most people would max out everything except rebounder, or everything except defender, or everything except inside scorer. But anyways, you guys got to put in those attributes wherever you wanted. And then by the time your attributes were done and over with, it would tell you what type of player you would have. It would tell you, you know, if you had a two-way superstar, an all defensive player, you know, an all offensive player. It would say something like that. But you never really got to choose your archetype. You just got to choose your attributes, which was really, really cool. It kind of made your player like a superstar, you know? You can just do everything you wanted to do with one player. And pretty much everyone would make a small forward at 7 foot tall build, because it was just OP. You can be a small forward, dribble, and be 7 foot tall. and pick your own attributes to max out. And that was one thing a lot of people enjoyed in 2K15 was picking out your own attributes. We weren't caged into, you know, choosing a certain archetype that only gave us certain attributes. Nah, we were able to pick any attributes we wanted, and you can unlock every single badge in the game as long as you grinded for that badge on your player. You could have like 50 plus badges on your player, which was nuts. Another thing in 2K15 that we don't really have today is the choices for your Myplayer as well. You can pick your wingspan, your body length, and your shoulder width. Most people would max out, you know, wingspan, body length, and shoulder width, so it would make your player a lot bigger. And you're also able to pick your body type, like your muscle tone. It would give you like a ripped option, an average option. And I remember that average option would make your player look bigger, so people chose average. Or you can make your guy look ripped, which would make him look smaller, but he'd be really toned with the muscles, you know. But yeah, those were kind of cool things I saw from 2K15 that's not really in the games nowadays, and I feel like they should bring some of that stuff back. 2K16, they changed the archetypes again. This time we were still able to pick our own attributes and our sections. It still had the same 6 sections: jump shooter, inside scorer, athlete, playmaker, rebounder, and defender. But the only difference this year was before you got to pick your attributes, you had to pick your archetype playstyle. There is 3 playstyles they had in this game, and that was inside scorer, outside scorer, or balance. And I'm gonna tell you right now, man, the outside scorer was the way to go in 2K16. And besides that, however you filled out your attributes, say like you maxed out your jump shooter attributes as an outside scorer, you'd probably have a 99 3-pointer. But if you were an inside or balance, I think a balance would have like a 75 3-pointer, and an inside scorer would have like a 50 3-pointer maxed out. So they kind of added in the caps for your attributes, you know. So you would have to pick your play style and then, you know, go from there and pick out your attributes, which is really cool. I know a lot of you guys miss the archetype system from 2K16. I see a lot of people tweet out to Mike Wang and other 2K devs saying like, bring back inside, outside, and balance. And to be honest, I really loved this, you know, this attribute upgrade system with the inside outside balance. It wasn't like 2K15 where you can do everything, have a 99 dunk and a 99 3-pointer and a 99 defense and have everything at 99. In 2K16 they tried balancing that out, which worked pretty well. You're either, you know, a good shooter or a good dunker, and you got to pick attributes. And the key thing from 2K16 was you could also get every single badge in the game. You can have, you know, 50 plus badges as long as you grinded that out. Some people didn't want to grind out that Deadeye because it was a really hard badge to get, but for the people who grinded that out, they would be a lot better in the My Park. But anyways, that was the archetype system in 2K16. I know a lot of y'all miss it, I miss it, but let's move on. Now 2K17 came around and things got way more advanced. You know, in the past years, everything was pretty much simple. You got to pick your player, fill up your own attributes, and nothing was too complicated. But when 2K17 came out, they added a bunch of new archetypes, a bunch of different play styles. They added in 11 brand new archetypes you got to choose from. As soon as you would make your build, that would be like the first thing you would have to pick is your archetype. And the archetypes were sharpshooter, shot creator, stretch big, lockdown defender, a glass cleaner, a post scorer, point forward, rim protector, playmaker, slasher, and athletic finisher. A lot of people were overwhelmed when 2K17 came out. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know what to make, you know? You really had to zone in on your craft and on what you wanted to do, because this was pretty much the first year where you couldn't do everything. You couldn't just shoot and dunk on people and be able to, you know, be a dribble god and all in one player. You actually had to pick a style to master. And not only did you have to pick one of these archetypes, you had to fluctuate with your weight and height, because if you know, put your weight up or moved it down, or put your height up and moved it down, or change your wingspan, it would affect your attributes. So you really wanted to make the perfect build here. People would have, you know, little T-Rex arms so they can shoot better. They would have super long arms so they can rebound better and defend better. And they would put their weight all the way down, so, you know, you would be a lot faster on the court. or people would max out their weight so they can box out better and get rebounds better. And there was so much more added into this game that just was mind-boggling this year. I mean, before, in past 2Ks, like I said, it didn't matter what your weight was or your wingspan because it didn't really affect the game like that. Like this year, this was the first year where 2K took it to a new level, and it was crazy. I remember that. My first build I made in 2K17 was a point guard, and then I made a stretch big, and then I made a glass cleaner. And you know, all those builds were very different from each other, and it made the park so much more unique than the past years because you really had to, you know who you were playing or what type of, archetypes they were. And 2K17 was a special year because it was a year that the archetypes were really born. 2K18, it changed again. The archetypes changed again. I mean, they had the exact same ones from 2K17, but the only difference, which was pretty huge, was the dual archetypes. This year, not only did you have to pick one archetype, you had to pick two archetypes for your build. So if you really wanted to be, a shooter, you would do sharpshooting for archetype 1 and sharpshooting for archetype 2, which would make you a pure sharpshooter. Or if you wanted to, dribble and speed boost like you did in the past years and be able to shoot consistently, you would make a play shooter or a play shot creator. So, you would have both those play styles, but whatever archetype you would pick first would be the most dominant in your stats versus the second archetype you would put on your build. So if you want to be a really great shooter, you pick, sharpshooting as your archetype number 1. And if you want a little bit of ball handling, you pick playmaking as your second archetype. But yeah, 2K18 got really confusing for a lot of people because they just wanted to be able to do everything, but they couldn't anymore. They had caps on everything. You would have to pick the correct archetypes, and then every single archetype, no matter what, if you would change something, the badges would change. Some badges on one build would be silver, some badges on a different build would be gold, and some people wouldn't have some badges, So you really had to pick and choose what archetypes you wanted to have for your build. It just got really complicated and really in depth into, creating your Myplayer. And a lot of people didn't like it at first because it was just too complicated, but some people ended up really loving it. And I believe they added this archetype system in 2K18 because of the 2K League. They wanted the 2K League to be more relatable to the NBA games, and that's how they would be able to do it, by having so many different archetype builds and structures to build your Myplayer. And now we're in 2K19, and the archetype system pretty much is the first time in history where it stayed the same. From 2K18 to 2K19, no changes were made in the archetype system. I think 2K just mainly focused on releasing a brand new neighborhood and trying to make something more fresh and exciting for us to play on. They did balance some of, the shooting and the blow bys from 2K18, but the archetype system pretty much just stayed the same. So there's not much to say about 2K19 because there's no change. Hopefully in 2K20 they add something completely different because, they don't want to have the same archetypes 3 years in a row. They got to switch it up because some people just don't enjoy this archetype system. So they need to try something new so more people will enjoy it. But anyways, guys, that was the video of the evolution of archetypes in 2K. Let me know what year was your favorite for the archetype system. Mine personally, I had the most fun in 2K15. Maybe because they didn't really have archetypes, you just got to, pick your own attributes and fill them up however you wanted to, and you got to unlock every single badge. I used to grind all my players to get every single badge, so my guy would be the most OP out there. But I just like being able to do everything with one player, so I don't have to waste VC and money to create more and more and more different builds just to be able to do something specific. But yeah, that's my take on it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys comment, like, and subscribe. But I'm the O, and I'm out.
People staring at me everywhere that I go. They try to judge me when they don't even know.